Chapter 3. Trapped in the Ice. After returning from London, Joseph soon found himself on another voyage, this time aboard a ship bound for Archangel, Russia. The journey began in May, with cold breezes hinting at the chill of northern seas. The men spoke in low tones about icebergs, some as big as cities, that drifted down from the frozen Arctic. One afternoon, Joseph stood at the rail, peering ahead. At first, the white shapes on the horizon looked like clouds, but as they drew closer, he saw towering cliffs of ice, glittering in the sun. They rose hundreds of feet above the water, their bases hidden deep below the surface. The sailors called them islands of ice, and Joseph thought they looked like castles built for giants. By nightfall, a heavy fog rolled in, so thick Joseph could barely see the end of the deck. The captain insisted they were past the ice, but some of the men weren't so sure. The wind stayed strong, pushing them on through the darkness. Joseph was in his bunk when it happened. "An island of ice!" shouted the helmsman. The next instant, crash! The ship shuddered violently, throwing Joseph against the wall. Above, he heard shouts, the pounding of feet, and the terrible grinding sound of wood against something unmovable. He scrambled up the ladder to the deck, where the cold cut through him like a knife. The bow of the ship was wedged under a massive shelf of ice. The sea, still restless from the wind, shoved the vessel harder against it with every wave. Some men clung to the rail, crying out for God's mercy. Others ran to lower the longboat, but the ice made it impossible to launch. Joseph saw Palmer, one of the sailors, grab the captain by the coat. "You've killed us all!" Palmer roared. "You'll be the first to go! Let him go, Palmer!" Joseph shouted, pulling at his arm. "Come help me at the pump!" Palmer hesitated, then followed Joseph. They bent over the pump handle, working furiously. The water level dropped, and then, to their surprise, the pump began to suck air. That meant no major leak. They shouted the news. The chief mate acted instantly. "Let go the halyards! Haul up the courses!" he roared. The men obeyed without question. The sails flapped, spilling their wind, and slowly, painfully, the ship slid backward, away from the deadly ice. The bow was badly damaged, and splinters littered the deck, but they were free. The current began carrying them around the towering iceberg toward its far end. By the time the sun rose, they had drifted into open water. Joseph looked back at the massive ice island, the morning light turning it pink and gold. He thought of the night before, how close they had come to sinking in the freezing sea, and whispered a prayer of thanks. Lesson for the journey. Sometimes trouble comes because of choices others make, but God can still bring us through safely. When we trust Him and work together, He can turn disaster into deliverance. Bible verse: "For He shall give His angels charge over you, to keep you in all your ways." Psalm 91:11.